Here we are again.
Cheers. Here with, now friend Matt DeLuca. We're on the 6th year of GZA Castle Island collaboration beer. We had a lot of fun this year. We upped the ante a little bit. Traditionally, we've done a 10 barrel, but due to popularity, we actually got to brew on the 30 barrel, which was pretty exciting. You should be able to see this beer on tap at Castle Island's Norwood and Southie location. So it'll be fun to drink something off the tap for the first time. So for our 6th anniversary, we got together as we always do to discuss what we wanted to do. And I asked Matt and Bill what they thought about trying to use inspiration from one of my favorite beers, great seasonal beer, Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale, which is a fresh hop beer, all West Coast hops. I believe it's Chinook, Centennial, and Cascade.
Correct.
Really cool beer. They essentially drive trucks out to the Pacific Northwest. They pick them up, they drive them back, and the beer's ready to go, and they fresh hop it. So super cool beer, difficult to replicate, whether it's the color or the flavor, but we wanted to give it a shot. And Matt did some research and went to the lab, and I think we knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, so when Justin came to us for our early fall powwow, hey, what are we gonna do this year? What direction do we want to go? He mentioned this Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale, and Bill and I are extremely fond of that beer. We always go out and look for it as soon as it hits stores in late October, early November, and so it had been on our minds. And when Justin sort of suggested, hey, could we maybe do a version of this, we said absolutely. I've always wanted to do that. So we did some research and we came up with how Sierra Nevada was brewing that beer year after year. We touched on the wet hop element. We don't live that close to hop yards. We don't have the accessibility to wet hops. So we did do an all pellet version of the beer, but we used the Chinook, Cascade, Centennial, and we feel like we definitely fell into the infield with this one. We're really happy with the way it came out. Although there is a secret version of this beer that we can maybe touch upon later in this chat. But it was a very simple recipe. It's a recipe that's been around for about 30 years or so. Sometimes the best beers on the planet are the simplest. That is certainly the case with this beer, where we're talking just a base 2-row malt, a slight bit of caramel, and your Chinook, your Cascade, and Centennial. Now, when Justin and I were brewing, in the back of my mind, was looking at the calculations. I was like, I don't know if we're going to get the color that Sierra Nevada is. And we started our Vorloff process, which is basically the process of filtering the beer upon itself, or the wort, I should say, upon itself in the mash. We felt like it was a little light. Or I told you I felt like it was a little bit of light. So I I don't want to use the word panic, but I panicked a little bit. I looked at what we had in inventory. We actually did have a little bit. We had a little bit of American chocolate malt in stock that I was able to use, which we threw in to kind of raise the color of the wort just slightly. And it got to a point where, at least on brew day, we were like, okay, this is where we want to be. It felt a little bit better because we didn't want anything that was going to be too pale for the occasion. So brew day went well. We hit our numbers. We dry hopped the beer. We had a little bit of hop creep that we had to kind of, navigate around. But here we are on packaging day. Everyone's been, super bright. This footage might not give it justice, but, just a really nice red hue. Harkens back to the golden age of craft beer. Really eliciting those flavors that kind of put American IPA on the map in those 3 hops that we used, and just really fun to kind of step back for a bit and kind of celebrate what the origins, or how the early days of craft beer and those brewers were doing it, and kind of parlay that with the GZA 60th anniversary. And I think we came out with a really fun beer, and something that I think people will really enjoy. You know, not too bitter, but certainly hop forward, flavorful, and it's something that I think is going to just be the perfect companion to any sort of celebratory situations.
Yeah, it's a perfect beer. It's one I look forward to. Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's the color, it's the taste. It's got a little bit of that maltiness, but certainly the fresh hop in this beer is something unique. It's a beer I've loved. They've been brewing it for a couple decades. It is an absolute classic. If you've never had it, you should try it. I think Matt did it better. Just my personal opinion. No offense. But yeah, it's a perfect beer. It's a celebration of GZA's 60th anniversary, and it's crazy to think our 6th anniversary of this collaboration. So it's been a lot of fun. It's continued to evolve. We've been enjoying this beer today, and we're already planning the 7th version of this beer, which, you know, we won't hit what we're gonna do, but we're gonna have a lot of fun with that one too. One thing that did come up sort of after the fact is Matt got access to a couple ingredients that allowed us to touch upon what this beer is really about, the fresh hop version of it. You want to?
Yeah, so I couldn't let us brew this whole batch without introducing any sort of whole cone hop element to it. So after we dry hopped the base beer, we transferred 5 barrels worth onto some whole cone Centennial that had just become available through one of our vendors, one of our hop vendors. So there's a version that's going to be packaged in the coming days that we're going to be calling GZA's 3 Score Pour Select. And that version, which will be available draft only in our tap rooms, will be this beer, but then with an additional dry hop element of the whole cone Centennial hops. So it was our effort to try to get just a little bit closer to the, you know, the Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale beer itself, and the whole concept of the wet hop element. And we're really looking forward to that one coming in a package, and I think it's a nice little carrot, you know, for everyone in the GZA world, or, you know, and beyond to try, especially if you're able to do sort of the side-by-side with the base beer. The base beer is fantastic, but I think the select could be just another layer that will add a fun element to the whole experience.
So it will be available by the time you see this video. I hope you know, there's enough time for you to get it. I don't know how long it will be on for. It's a relatively small batch, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that variant of this beer, which I really enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoy the beer this year. Again, it's a pleasure to work with Matt and the whole Castle Island crew. Stand-up group of people, great beers here. I hope you're able to come down and check it out. And happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. I look forward to seeing all of you, and look forward to you drinking the beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.